In this video, we're going to demonstrate how to drill across and filter through your data using brush-linked markings and data filters. Here I have a table of data on video game sales on the left, and on the right I have an aggregated view showing the total number of rows by genre in this table. When I click a genre like racing or role-playing in my bar chart, the rows matching that selection are all marked in the table, which you see through the genre column. Note that markings always map to rows of data in the data tables in your analysis. Here I have the same markings used on the whole page. If you want to use multiple independent markings, simply go to the Visualization Properties, the Data menu, and add New Marking, which I'll do here as Marking B. You can then set this as a top drop-down as your new marking. This bottom list is for data limiting, which is something I'll get into in a second. In my charts, I could go into each of the visualization properties and change the markings. For easier access, I can toggle the marking drop-down in the legend and select directly from here. Now I see these top and bottom charts interacting independently based on the markings that each uses. If you ever want to manage these markings, you go to File, Document Properties, and the Markings tab where you can change the name and the color. This color is used on the markings only when you have Use Separate Color for Marked Items checked in the Visualization Properties. If you uncheck this, the marked data will keep the original color, but the unmarked data will be faded. On this page, instead of table visualizations, I'm showing a scatter plot. After selecting Puzzle, I see how critic and user scores for the puzzle genre compare to the rest. I can also drag and select if I want to use multiple genres. If I want to include additional data, I can simply hit Ctrl F on my keyboard and enter the data I want to mark. Here I'll add sports. For specific additional points, I can hold the Control key on my keyboard and click points, or I can hold Alt and Control to lasso select regions. Alternatively, I can simply hit Alt alone and lasso select only that region. By right-clicking, I can choose to invert these markings and even unmark everything or delete specific points. Another useful feature on categorical plots like bar charts is grouping. By selecting multiple categories and right-clicking, I can choose to group marked categories, which I'll combine here for action and adventure. This actually creates a new column for me which I can see in my data panel. If I want to use the original categories, I just drag my original genre column back over. Everything we've shown so far is for drilling across your data, but now we'll switch and show drilling into it. I'm going to right-click and duplicate the scatter plot. However, in this plot, I'm going to go to my visualization properties, and in the data menu, I'm now going to check marking A under data limiting options. Now when I select data in my genre bar chart, the bottom scatter plot only shows that data. A shortcut way to do this drill down is by right-clicking a chart and choosing Create Details Visualization, which automatically includes the data limiting marking for you. For these data limited charts, when nothing is marked in the master visualization, I can choose to have all data shown, no data shown, or a message shown. It's important to note here that when data limiting by marking is used and that same marking is set to the chart's marking, you won't be able to mark data on that chart itself. For a details visualization like this, you must have a separate marking to create marked selections. Next, let's discuss slicing and dicing up your data through filters. By hitting this funnel icon on the top right, out pops a filter panel for each column in my data. Let's say I want to see video games released after 2000 and a critic score above 5. By moving these sliders, you'll see the charts on the page change. However, by selecting genres, you still see the markings working across. This is because my filter is limiting the data accessible to each chart. To individually control the filtering on each chart, I can go back to my Visualization Properties and Data menu, where I can scroll down to the filter options and uncheck the filtering schemes used. Now you can see this bottom right chart has ignored my filters. To control individual chart filterings more precisely and with more flexibility, use the Filter by Expression option where you can fix multiple criteria such as ratings equal to E and user scores above 5. The default filtering scheme is for filters set on the active page I'm on, but I can also add new schemes just like with markings. Again, I can manage these in File, Document Properties, but now the Filtering Schemes tab. If using multiple schemes, consider checking this box, which turns on the drop-down in the filter panel, allowing users to directly change schemes from there. As an example, with multiple schemes, I want to separate my data into videos released before and after the year 2000. For my pre-2000 filter scheme, I'll move the release date slider before 2000, and similarly, not shown, I'll do this for post-2000. I'll dedicate this page to pre-2000, and on each chart, I'll select that filter scheme in the visualization properties. I did the same on this other page, but for post-2000. Now pay attention to the release column as I switch between pages. You can clearly see each filtering scheme working independently on the data. This might be useful for you if you have multiple users or departments using the same dashboard and you want to create separate filter schemes for each, allowing them to select from the filtering scheme dropdown. From the filter panel, we can remove any selected filters by clicking the X at the bottom. We can also drag and drop these filters to charts and search the available filters at the top. You can right-click a filter and change the display type, or organize filters by creating groups and reordering. Directly from a text box, you can add a filter so it's easily accessible to your audience. From a text box, you may choose to add an action control to reset markings and filters, which may help your users in more complex pages. Finally, directly from charts, you can take a marking, right-click it, and either filter it out or filter down to it, enabling you with agile data exploration capabilities. When filtering by these marking selections, a new column will be created in your data panel, allowing you to easily come back to a selection at another time.